Hi there, I'm Mary from Mary Stories, and today we're going to be crocheting this shawl, which I have called the Earth Shawl, because these are colors from the rocks, the ground, the water. I used Lion Brand's Wool Ease. It's a great fiber made of 86% wool and acrylic, and it's a great touch. I used 3 shades, and I'm going to show you now how to start this pattern. I'm going to write down all 3 shades I used, and I used a US J10 or 6mm crochet hook, and we are going to start shaping a small triangle, and on every other row it's getting bigger. So we are making increases in this pattern at the beginning and at the end of every row. To start this pattern, you are going to make a slip knot, and then you either can work a magic ring or chain 4, as I do here. So chain 4 and work a slip stitch, inserting your hook in the first chain you have made. Insert your hook there and pull up a loop and pull it through the stitch on your hook as well with one movement, so you have formed a ring. And after this you are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and work, inserting your hook in the center of the ring into the space. You are going to work a double crochet and one more. So counting the initial chain 3, we have 3 double crochets. Now chain 2. Basically this is our first corner made. So now we have to work 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook in the space, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through last 2 loops. And now we have mirrored the other side, so we have 3 double crochets on one side of the triangle and 3 double crochets on the other side. We turn our work at the end of every row, so we are starting from the right again, and from now on we are going to work this way. You are going to have your yarn end at the bottom, so you know this is the bottom of your work, and we have to climb now and form a triangle or a small mountain. Chain 3 at the beginning of row 2 and work into that first loop at the bottom a double crochet. So we have 2 double crochets at the beginning. This is an increase, and this is what we are going to do on every row, at the beginning and at the end, at the last stitch, which is the third stitch, yes, of initial chain 3. We're going to work 2 double crochets. We have just worked 2 double crochets. Now we're going to work a double crochet in next stitch and a double crochet in next stitch, which is very near to our corner, and till now we have 4 double crochets, and this is a chain 2 space before us, so into that chain space we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. all this, which is called a corner, is made into that chain 2 space. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So this is a new corner of row 2, and we have our chain 2 space in the middle of the work. It's the peak of the mountain, let's say. Now we're going down to the other side, and we're going to work as at the beginning, working and mirroring our work. So we have 6 double crochets at the first side, and we're going to make the same, make 6 double crochets in the second on the other side. We have already made 2 at the corner, and work a double crochet right in the first stitch you see, a second one in the second, which is the last double crochet, and what is left is the top of chain 3. There we're going to insert our hook and work 2 double crochets. I hope it's clear to you, and if you count your stitches, you are going to make totally similar the 2 sides of the triangle of your work, and this is the only fragile point of the pattern. We're going to change color now, and to do this we're going to insert the mushroom. So we're doing this on the last double crochet, and we didn't finish our double crochet. We have left 2 stitches on our hook, and we insert our new color, the mushroom color. And now we're going to work our row number 3, which is a single crochet row. Practically we're doing the same thing, chain 1 and work into that first stitch 2 single crochets. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we are starting our new row with an increase, and the only thing we are going to do is work single crochets all along our side till we reach at the corner. Then we are going to work a corner into the corner and down again. So we have made 2, 3 in the next stitch, 4, 5 in the next stitch a single crochet, 6, 7, and we're going to work a corner, 2 single crochets, chain 2 and 2 single crochets into that space. So 2 single crochets, chain 2 and 2 single crochets, and now it's very simple. Work single crochets into every stitch till the end of the other side. We see clearly a double crochet, we work there a single crochet, and we have the top of chain 3, and there you are going to work 2 single crochets. We're going to change color again, so don't finish this single crochet. Stay with 2 loops on your hook, and as you can see here, this single crochet row creates some small ridges, and it looks good to me. You can always do without this, you can always work only double crochets if you want to follow these color changes. So follow this, and now it's time to insert our sea spray color. So while we have 2 loops on our hook, cut your yarn, cut the mushroom, and fold and take the sea spray and turn. You just have to remember to always turn your work and start all over from the right side, and this row, it's our 4th row, and we're going to work a chain 3 at the beginning of the row and a double crochet. This is a double crochet row, a double crochet into that first stitch, so we have an increase, and then work double crochet into every stitch until you reach at the corner, and here I have worked 2 rows of double crochet, which is a repetition of row 2, so I pass it quickly and I change color and insert the natural heather color, and I'm ready to work row, oh, I have to find my rows. And I'm working now row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now I have inserted my natural heather, and I'm going to work again. I forgot to tell you, you add 6 stitches on every row, so you have to have 3 and 3, 6 stitches on your first row, 6 and 6 stitches on the second row, and this is the way you go on. So I have worked a single crochet row as before when I have worked row number 3, the mushroom, and it's time to insert again a new color, the mushroom color, and I pull my yarn ends and go on in order to work my row number 7. So I have worked 3 chains and a double crochet in the first chain. It's a repetition of previous rows, but I'm going to work it with you so it's clear what to do, at least at these first rows. And now I have made a change, and I'm going to show you the 2 rows which are made with clusters. So we start the same way as in double crochet rows, chain 3 and work a double crochet in the very first row. Then we have to chain 1, skip a stitch and work a cluster in next stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook in the stitch and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Don't finish this stitch, yarn over again, insert in the same stitch, pull up a loop, so you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You have 3 loops on your hook. Now it's time to finish, yarn over and pull through 3 loops, and this is a cluster made. And we have to chain 1 right after this and work this cluster till the end of this side. So chain 1, skip a stitch and work a cluster in next stitch. Yarn over and pull through 3 loops and it's over. Chain 1, skip next stitch and work a cluster in next stitch. I'm going to explain it again. Yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop and pull through 2 loops. Again, make the same thing. It's like 2 double crochets finished as one. So work until the corner and I'll meet you then. You should work 13 clusters until the end. This is row number 10. Meet me of the pattern, there. Not row number 7. I have worked twice cluster double crochet rows and then the cluster row. So I'm working now the last cluster of this side. Now I'm working the last one. And now you should count and keep the rule of this pattern and increase by 3 stitches on every row. In total 6 stitches on both rows. And now I'm going to work in the corner, not cluster but double crochets. This is chain 2 space of previous row, and I'm going to show you how to count on a cluster row so you won't make any mistake. And we have the 2 double crochets at the beginning, and after this a chain 1 and a cluster. A cluster is 1 stitch and right next is a chain 1, it's a 2nd stitch. So on this 10th row we're going to count till this last cluster and we find out that we have 28 stitches. We have to keep the rule, so we will have to make 30 stitches on this side, so I'm not going to chain 1 and I'm going to work into the space 2 double crochets. In this way we have a total of 30 stitches. Now we're going to mirror our work and work chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the same space. I don't count in the number of stitches I give you, I don't count the chain 2 of the corner. So right after the 2 double crochets, work in the first next stitch a cluster, and let's say this is number 3 for this side. Chain 1, skip a stitch and work a cluster in next stitch. We have to make 30 stitches on this side as in on the other side. This is the important thing about triangles, to keep the same number of stitches on both sides. So we're going across the end, working double crochet clusters and chain 1. So we're working a cluster now and chain 1, skip, we have one more cluster to work, we skipped a stitch and made a cluster, and chain 1 at the end. We have 2 stitches left, skip next stitch and work 2 double crochets in the last single crochet of the row. This was row number 10. and we have worked 30 and 30 stitches. And next row is also a cluster row, a little bit different from this first row, again in order to keep the same number of stitches. Just follow this, and wherever it's necessary to work cluster row, you are going to work the same way. We start the same way again, chain 3, this is row number 11, chain 3 and work a double crochet in the same first stitch. And now we're going to work clusters in chain 1 spaces. So chain 1 and find the very first space in front of you and work there a cluster. And pull the yarn through 3 loops. Now chain 1 and jump over to next space to work cluster again. And chain 1, work cluster in next space and work this way all across this side. We're going to work 33 stitches on this row according to our rule. So go patiently, because this is the stitch pattern that needs a little bit of attention, let's say. The double crochet row and the single crochet rows are much more simple rows to do. So let's count 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 is the last cluster of this. No, 30 is this cluster that we are working into the space which is not a chain space, but is the space between last cluster of previous row and the 2 double crochets of the corner. And now chain 1 and work 2 double crochets into the corner. So this row is a little bit different from our previous row. We just have a space, but it's not a chain really, because we didn't chain 1 at previous row. We just made a cluster and then the corner, but on this row we have to work in this space. And now 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into that corner. And now again mirror your work. After 2 double crochets, now you have to chain 1 and find this let's say space. It's not a chain space, but you can find the space between the cluster and the 2 double crochets and work there a cluster. If you do this, don't be afraid. Until the end of the row it's very simple to work. Just made a cluster, chain 1, and after this you find the chain 1 spaces and work their clusters. And after this 11th row we have much more simple work to do. Now we are at the end of the row 11. We have a last chain space, so we have chained 1, work a cluster in that last space, and chain 1 and find the top of chain 3 and work there, not the double crochet, the chain 3, and work there 2 double crochets. Sew an increase at the end of this 11th row, and it's time to change our color again and insert our mushroom color to make a single crochet row. This is the repetition. After 2 cluster rows we're working a single crochet row, which is the row number 12, and after this I have already worked and showed to you that we're working row number 13 and 14 with double crochets in natural heather color. You can always make your choice and may use your own colors and do the color changes right as you want. I'm just showing again a double crochet row, so jump over and go move on if you want at the end of the video. You can always see this pattern very detailed written on my blog, so visit marymarystories.blogspot.com. This is my full address, and remember to always work a corner into the corner. This is the peak of the mountain, and 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into the corner. This is just a repetition of other rows. I just go patiently and show again, and work a double crochet into every stitch all across this side again. I hope it's a shawl that you are going to love and tell me all about it. This is something I need from you, your help, your feedback, and this can be given to me in a form of a thumbs up or a comment or a share on YouTube of my videos. I always remember to thank you at the end, but I do it this time as I have time while I'm crocheting always the same thing, double crochets. So I want to thank you for helping me, and I'm thankful for bringing in comments what you want to see from my channel. This is a great help to me. I'm working last 2 double crochets at the end of the row, and I cannot explain the whole pattern because it's a big shawl. It has 40 rows in total, and the color changes, you can find it on the blog. And now I'm just inserting sea spray again to work a single crochet row. You have a lot of yarn ends to weave in, but this is part of this design and of every pattern that has color changes, and we cannot avoid it in any way. Remember to chain 1 and work 2 single crochets at the beginning of single crochet rows, and remember that chain 1 does not count as a single crochet. And I don't used to make knots. I just pull my yarns and start working on a new row with my new color. So this is the first loop where I have to work 2 single crochets. If that helps you, you may use a marker to mark the very first single crochet of this row, so you know later on where to insert your hook, and this way it will be much more clearer. Markers always are very stitch markers are very useful things to use. In the corner you don't need to mark anything, it's clear enough after some rows. Just I make clear that this is the last stitch where we work double crochets or single crochets, and then work at the space of the corner a new corner. So watch in the corner which is the space and find the right stitches to work, and try to make the same amount of stitches on both sides, and everything is going to be even and straight. I have already made some how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 rows. I think I have count on this piece I have made here, and on this shawl I have made some cross stitches, and I didn't want to explain this thing again because it would be a little bit overloaded as a pattern, so I wrote my pattern without the crossed double crochet stitches, just single crochet rows, double crochet rows, and cluster rows, which is much more easy to do. And as a friend recommended, this is enough as stitch pattern to work, and it's not necessary to work any other. I don't have anything else. Let me see my notes. Remember that chain 3 at the beginning of the row counts as a double crochet. Just want to tell you about the colors shades. 403 is mushroom in Lion Brand's Woolies. 123 is sea spray color, and 098 is natural heather. It's time to add the fringe, and adding fringe to the shawl. We need to cut these fringes in the same dimension, so use a book or a piece of cupboard and wrap several times. I use 3 strands for every fringe I am working, so at the end I have a 6-strand fringe going in the shawl, but I am going to cut 3 and double it over. So I cut as many as I can together. I take my scissors and cut the ends, and once you have at the same size these small yarn ends, you can count and take as many as you want. I think now I have taken too many. In the real thing, I think I used 3 or 4. I really don't remember, but it's going to be rather heavy, if I use many strands. And I keep passing the same color for 3 or 4 times and then change color in my fringe. So I'm now working with a mushroom, and I'm going from the back to the front, and because I have these holes, it's easy to make it with my fingers, and I'm using my fingers and pass the yarn ends through this hole, and I tightened the fringe, and this is it. At the end, I'm going to use my pair of scissors and trim these ends. Again, I fold over the yarn strands, the fringe, and pass it. You can either pass it from the front to the back or from the back to the front. It's the same thing, as long as you make all the whole row the same way. So keep your piece flat and always work from the front to the back or from the back to the front. You choose your own way to do things. You can even use your hook as a tool to pass these fringes through the hole, then open a little bit the hole with your fingers and grab the ends, pass them through, and tighten up this let's say knot. Fringes are totally up to you if you are going to add them or not. Some people love them, some people don't, and you are going to make your own way. We are always put our ideas, our likes in what we do. Thank you all for being here and supporting my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and tap the bell if you want to get notified for every new video I post. Lately I do not post many videos. I have too many work to do with other things that this channel and you that follow me. Thank you.